And while May is National Beef Month, we want to celebrate the hardworking livestock producers every day, and we do so here on RFD-TV. And with calving season now in full swing, we want to check in with Oklahoma producer for an update. Welcome back to the show, one of our good friends, Gatlin Didier. Always a pleasure, buddy. You know, before we went to camera, I know a lot of storm is blowing through right now. This kind of weather pattern, is this typical for what you usually see?
I mean, this time of year, it's like we're in Tornado Alley, so we kind of expect the thunderstorm weather. But we've had some really interesting weather this year, and I honestly I'm not a meteorologist, even though I think I'm about as accurate as some of them are sometimes in Oklahoma. But it's just some strange weather we've had here. We're not used to some of these patterns. We know there's drought seasons, but we've had enough moisture this year to at least yield a decent amount for our cattle. But it could always be more. We'll take as more moisture, more rain as possible. But in Oklahoma, you can never get enough of it. That's for sure.
Absolutely. So how has the season been going? How are the cattle? You calving yet?
Oh, yeah. We're in full swing. I think we got about 75 or 80 baby. I've lost count. There's so many running around, and we're behind. We got to get tagging. This time of year, it's always fun because it's live. That's exciting. It's the new next herd coming in. And we typically calve out during this time of year. We had a fall herd this year too, since we're gone direct to consumer with our family company here. And now we're growing our herd and having different seasons for calving. And we're going to try to go to year-round calving. So that'll be interesting in the winter months and dealing with heifers and new mamas, which we love to deal with old mamas more than new mamas. So there's a lot to calving season. But the best part, like what's on the screen, is it's life. And there's a lot of energy in life, and it brings a lot of excitement for us.
Well, that's going to be interesting year-round calving season, and I look forward to talking to you about that. In addition to your operation, we, of course, talk cattle. You're growing a lot of your own crops to feed your cattle. What else about your operation people may not know?
Yeah, well, I mean, historically, our operation has been a farm and ranch, and now we've transitioned to full cow-calf operation. And a starter yard. My uncle has his own starter yard alongside the entire operation. So we're mainly cattle people now, but our heritage and our legacy is in farming and row crops and mainly wheat. But the crops that we grow for our own cattle, we grow our own hay, which you need to do that as a rancher. But we also have our own corn that we use for silage, and that's a huge part of our grain mix. So you never can escape farming even if you try to say you're not a farmer anymore. Which is what my dad and my uncle love to do. But, we're really a farm and ranch operation at the end of the day, because you have to rely on having your own crops to be able to feed out your cattle, especially, with the high cost to operate. It helps to have your own. So that's a huge part of our operation on the side. We don't show all the time. But yeah, you got to be able to farm too if you want a ranch. Well,
listen, I love your personality. I love your energy. A lot of people do follow you on social media influencer. And I said this to you, one topic that we cover a lot about the next generation are the younger farmers who are choosing maybe not to stay on the farm, putting farms in jeopardy of going away. And like I said, you're a guy who makes it really look enjoyable. And it seems like you're so passionate about that. There could be somebody watching right now on the fence about what to do and at a crossroads here. Your advice, your suggestion, what would you like to say to them?
Well, being a guy who initially left the operation, wanted to go do other things and had aspirations to be an actor and be in Hollywood and come back, you realize that this way of life, the foundation, probably the way you're brought up, if you're from this way of life, or even if you just want to get into it, there's something so pure about it, and something so especially us being a family of faith, there's something so godly and so heavenly about it. For us, that's what it's all about. And so a lot of our followers are the younger generation, FFA members, 4-H members. And if I can give them one thing, it's especially going in this way of life, it's all worth it. We're at the end of the day, we're going to have a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations. But our ancestors were resilient. They got into this and have lasted a long time. A lot of people like my family operation has been around 120 years. There's ones that are even 200 years old in this country. Those are very resilient people, and that's in our DNA. And so even though times are tough, even though it looks like everything's against us, it's worth fighting for. And so if I can inspire anyone else, I try to highlight the fun side of it on social media, because social media is just like, glamorous place, but there's a lot of tough that comes to it. But it's in our DNA, and it's who we are, and it's who we are as people. And to me, that's worth fighting for. And as long as you can represent what you're about, which we're about our faith, We're about our family. We're about our friends, and we're about being people of integrity. And if you're not living by those values or those standards, then whatever you're doing, you need to get out of. And to me, farming and ranching and agriculture represent those ideals, and that's who we are.
This is why I love you so much. What an incredible job. You are so inspiring. Our best to your entire family, especially Grandma there. And thank you for all that you do. Oklahoma producer and ag influencer, you bet. Gatlin Didier, how great is he?